thank you for checking out this playthrough of Metaphor ReFantazio. If you're watching it as it's coming out, I'm actually streaming it live on Twitch, so feel free to check it out there. We'll be a little bit further ahead. That said, if you're enjoying the playthrough, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Specifically comment, because that helps with the algorithm and makes me feel like a special little boy. Otherwise, we'll get right into it. Thank you.
Now, we'd best get registration out of the way, but we'll need some legs for the journey. It's mostly lawless wastes between cities.
Judging by this specified deadline, we're unlikely to reach the Principality of Oceana's capital.
That's how you prevent, like, the Poors from being involved. Yep.
Have their own gauntlet runners to ride in.
A carriage might save our chances, if we could find one. Perhaps we split up for now. I'll leave you two to the registration. They should be taking entrance at the recruitment center.
This should be the place, right?
Excuse us, we're looking to join the tournament for the throne.
Aye? Bit young, ain't ya? And who's the kid? He with you?
I'm the one entering.
I'm the one entering.
You? Really?
I've not heard of any age restrictions. There a problem?
Well, I'd not have thought it, but you're an elder, ain't ya? And you want to be king. Well, the novelty of it might win you some looks.
Could you just do your job, please? Can he register or not?
Ah, an elder.
Yeah, this asshole
Now that I
again.
think of it, weren't you in that pack of recruits that went off to the northern fort? Thought I heard they were all wiped out. What? We got a deserter turning up.
No, they said he'd just dragged the company down, so they left him at the capital. He, got on the captain's bad side.
Don't lie. Just say we.
You before too.
Just say we killed the human.
Well, hardly matters with no captain to verify it with. Go on then. You can represent the lesser tribes so nobody complains.
That was a close one.
And, obviously, you're gonna need a carriage. Otherwise, the whole thing's off for you. You're obligated to attend the opening ceremony tomorrow. It'll be at the plaza at the Grand Cathedral.
I really thought we would get more applause for killing the human, but like it seems like nobody knows, and that's a
For us?
problem.
I expect we should see about finding a monster to slay. If it's not impressive enough, Luis won't look twice at you.
I mean, we already slayed a monster. We slayed the human.
Some postings over there. They should be offering bounties on monsters the guard can't handle. Let's take a look.
We also did just kill a bounty as well, but like, it's insane that the whole killing the human thing's
Looks
not
like
coming
everyone
up.
else had the same idea.
One of these bounties is bound to make me stand out.
But which? Bigger is probably better.
Hang on. There's nothing but small-time contracts here.
Are you lot here for this tournament then? Bit slow, I'm afraid. Most of my worthiest monster bills have already been snapped up by other competitors.
How about requests on anything aside from monsters? Bounties include criminals too, right?
I suppose I've got one of those, yeah.
Let's see. Ugh, he's horrible. Heisme, a villainous kidnapper.
I
Looks like the
recognize
army's
that
been trying
name.
to catch him for a while now.
This
Oh, is he gonna join us? Because I recognize the name.
You have any idea who that is? That man's an elite. An ex-royal knight, they say. He'd make short work of a scrawny little urchin. You can be sure of that. Besides, didn't you hear what it is they're actually looking for?
Oh, of course. It's about whoever can bring in the biggest monster head, right?
If you imbeciles can't even get that straight, you've no chance at winning. They want kingly types, not children play acting.
Stuck-up little... Is that the kind of competition we can expect?
He was right about the rules, though. What are you thinking?
Don't worry, I know what I'm doing.
We're supposed to get a monster's head. So why are you going for a criminal? Any idea what he's up to?
I have no idea what he's up to. Maybe he has a big head. We don't need to win. Did I have a nice Friday? It was okay. I played some Delta Green. could have been better. What about yourself?
Maybe it's because we don't actually have to win.
Sharp as always, Captain. Don't worry, I'll explain everything later.
As long as you can convince Hulkenberg, I guess.
Ho there! Are you really taking the bounty on Heisme? You three must be heaven sent. Please, would you listen to our plight?
You have character art. You must be important. But like, yeah, it's also true that we don't have to follow the tournament necessarily. We just need to get people's
The bounty on Heisme is up at my behest.
Nah, I can't do that here.
Made some powerful enemies.
We can't afford lenience. On top of his past crimes, Heisme has stooped to abducting our wee ones. Our children. Selling them off, some say.
Oh,
If
really?
our city becomes known for nightly disappearances, what sane resident would stay? Community and trade will dwindle.
So he
and
can't be
die.
part of our
But
team
he's
then.
just a lone kidnapper, right? Even if he's some infamous
Yeah, I can't pull
criminal,
off that hair.
why can't the guard handle it?
That's the trouble. He makes his hideout somewhere too dangerous for our soldiers to tread. Deep in the territory of vicious giant worms. We've no idea how he manages to operate out there without getting devoured himself.
I see. Tricky problem indeed.
I'd no choice but to swallow my pride and post a bounty. Yet no matter how many times I renew the bill, none have taken it. A pitiful sight, isn't it? A soldier who can't protect his home, whether by strength or by surrender. Laugh if you must.
Survival of the fittest. All right, well, I guess I'll just go die then. It's fine. I'm not doing great, and yeah, it's fine. And I need to go work out again. I do need to Rari workout. I've shared that before, right? The BBC 60-minute takeover. You're not pitiful.
There's nothing pitiful about it.
You only cast away your honor in the name of protection. Nothing pitiful in that. Swallow your pride no more, man. We'll take your contract.
Thanks to you. That you'd accept such a perilous request. Even with
What
this
was even the point?
over everything. Closure.
Okay, I feel like I'm losing my mind about this plot all of a sudden. I don't know. I was so excited. I was so excited to get into this and like have the main plot start to unfurl, right? Like I think you guys know that. I was so hyped for this game, and like I've been enjoying the other streams of it. But like, okay, we just had a thing where we got to the top of the cathedral. We fought that boss, one of Louise's men, right? Who like, even if we got recruited by Louise, he would out us. That's Louise's man. He'd out us as the person who prevented them from doing the Day of Calamity. Because that guy survived, remember? So, like, what the fuck is the plan? In addition to that, afterwards, he uses all that magla he built up to resurrect the human that we fought and killed. And that's not relevant at all to the rest of the story that's gonna go on? Like we had to get a monster head and like we would have a claim to that human. Like again, I really thought that the thing that was gonna happen is people would have seen us do that and like even if we were low on the rung, the rumors would spread that we did that and that would put us into the running. But then instead the church announces a tournament that they're gonna do, and like I don't mind that so much because it's like, oh okay, like this is a way for them to rig it in their favor, while pretending that it's fair, right? Like immediately that's apparent because it's like, oh, we're gonna the first part is in this other city and the poors aren't gonna be able to afford to go, right? So like I don't mind that as a way to rig it when like that's not what the actual way to win is. The way to win is to like get into the hearts of everyone's like be promising for everyone, right? But then like what was even the fucking point of the human bit and fighting him up top except that it's for a demo? Listen, I'm also poor. I get you, Seven. I'm talking about the in-world, in-game poors. So like what was the purpose of having all of that in the game? Why did we do that? Like I understand why we did that. I get the motivation to go do that. But then it's like it's so like it's just so blazingly stupidly obvious that like, oh, we killed this human and the problem should be that we need to find a way to get the head over there. Like we still, that would provide a roadblock. Like that'd get us hype in the running to become king. It would give us a way to enter the tournament and be like, yeah, oh, these are the guys who killed the human, right? But we would still have to go present it over in this other place, and we wouldn't have the funds, we wouldn't have the running, and we could still have to do this bounty. Like it wouldn't even change that much. We would still have to do this bounty bit in order to maybe afford to pay for like one of the gauntlet runners, or to afford the carriage to get out there and like with the luggage of the human head. Right? It doesn't even change the structure, but it's just like so goddamn fucking obvious. We just killed this big ass fucking monster and it's not relevant at all. No one saw it. The state is taking credit for it, which is fine, but then we're not even following up with that because the main plot of the game isn't even that we're like following along with this election. The main plot is that we're faking the election so we get close to Louise so he'll hire us, which is why we're running against him. And then when he hires us, we can try to get the prince back, but we're still not gonna get the prince elected through that. Like, what are we fucking doing in this game? Oh, I'm losing my mind. This is the dumbest development that they could have done with what is a really cool conceit. Oh, I'm getting angry. Oh, I'm getting angry. Oh, no. It is a long day. I don't think anyone here would believe. People saw it! Sorry, I'm not yelling at you, but like, people saw it happen. There were soldiers who thanked us and citizens who immediately thanked us for doing it. No, Cassette, I'm not calming down. It's dumb. Sorry, I hope I'm not like hurting anyone's ears. I do have like a volume cap on this, but I don't know how well it's working right now. So I really hope that I'm not like, you know, actually getting too loud. Okay. I know it had some gain peaks, but like I hope it wasn't like actual screeching. But legitimately people saw it in the game. Like it would be another thing if we did that, but it was like in the middle of the night and they saw the human, something happened with the human, and then we killed the human, but we never took credit for it because we were wondering about it. And then they even bring it up like now, being like, oh well, we killed the human, but it's like, oh, they already took credit for it. Like if they address that. But the problem is we killed the human and immediately citizens thanked us for it, and immediately army people thanked us for it. And you think there would be a rumor that this group killed. There's already, according to Brigitte, there's already rumors that we're going around using magic without an igniter. If there's already rumors of that, why wouldn't there be rumors that, oh, they killed a human? Why wouldn't we have a claim to the human? When people even outside of the army saw it. Like, if only the army saw it, I could even still accept it as like propaganda or whatever. But like, they had citizens see it. So what's the what's the point? Why did that even happen except to be a cool demo boss? And it wouldn't, like, that. The part that's frustrating me is that it doesn't change anything of the motivations to go out and do this next thing, right? Like, because there's already plenty of roadblocks that would require us to go get a bounty, to go do this Heismay thing.
In that case, we shall meet in Matira, the old castle type. Please, make haste.
Well, no backing out of this now. You sure this is what we want?
Way I see it, if we want to make a big impact this late, it's going to take some creativity. Besides, this is apparently a knight-turned-kidnapper. The man can't be allowed to go on.
I mean, it's dumb.
Do in our place?
It's so incredibly stupid.
I'll convince Hulkenberg. Somehow. You go on and accept the contract.
No, I'm still happy I got the pre-order special edition, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna still enjoy the game despite all that. Oh, the audacity of youth. Yeah, that's what Shamir fledgling with no history or experience of speaking of as king. That idea makes me sick to my stomach. Delman Godard, the ideal leader of the country is a dignified man of a great age, one with years of experience, and yet upstart school children like you and Louise dare to. And it hardly matters. You won't be able to fight much longer, so struggle as you like. I'd probably give a eulogy at your funeral. Suppose he's a candidate too.
Hey!
Heismay, you sure you can handle it? We won't be held liable if you get yourself killed out there. Of course I can. You're an odd one, alright. Either that or you're just green. Head to Matira. You'll probably get more information there.
Let's focus.
Yep, gotcha.
Let's call it.
Yep, let's head back to the inn. At least bring it up as to why we can't use that human we killed.
Issues, I trust?
Like if they, all it needs is a single line of like the state army collected it, and so like even if there are rumors of us doing that, which I thought would be what put us in the running. I hate that our motivation is to just pretend to be running so Louise hires us, which is the dumbest shit I've ever heard. But I'm trying to get past that. I'm really trying to get past that. It's so fucking dumb. But all it would take is them saying, oh yeah, there are rumors that you guys killed them, but we can't release the human to you. Like, that's all it would take even. To then give us a different motivation and be like, all right, well, fine. But like the fact that it's not even brought up is insane.
No, indeed.
It's insane.
We found ourselves a perfect target.
Fine work.
Stroll?
See? She's convinced. Nothing to worry about. Don't worry about it. I'll prepare a map of the surrounding areas as well. But never mind that. Have you found us a kingly carriage?
Well, I have made some arrangements. How best to put it? The vessel itself is without peer. Supposedly, it will come to us on the day of the opening ceremony.
You don't sound too sure about that.
Oh, no, I'm certain. All I mean to say is, well, you shall soon see for yourself.
Well, under the circumstances, I'll take what we can.
Oh my
get.
god, no one's
Setting
being
that up in a
straight.
day.
We're held
So
together
bad
by
having a
duct
knight
tape.
on our
I
side.
do like that. I do like that part
Needn't
of
think
it.
So, in truth, I've just resigned from the Knight's Order. Though it is only my bond of service I relinquish, not my title. We will shortly be seeking Luis's esteem. Should it come to light that I am a knight in active service, it may jeopardize our efforts.
Still, you didn't hesitate to leave. I can tell you're serious about
God,
this.
it's so stupid that we're trying to get hired by Louise.
I've come to doubt the Order since returning to find them serving the Santifex and not the Royals. Those who refused the Church's rule were cast out for their defiance. I only hope those fallen knights found useful employ elsewhere.
Sounds like you've been through a lot too.
Well, in any case, we can focus on our bounty contract now. Let's make sure we get some proper rest tonight.
I hate the direction this is going in. I have full faith that they'll pull it out and change it in a direction I like, but I hate the direction this is going in. It's got you all excited. Yep.
Hey.
That's Fabienne for the map of Matira, and she gave me one from Grease's personal effects. It covers all the main roads. We may have found one in town, but a military map always has more details. Fabienne continues to be our anchor. To pay her back, let's achieve our goals.
Now then.
Our preparations seem to be proceeding without issue. Well, apart from one massive overtuned... nope. Never mind. Forget my mutterings. Just, please, do not be surprised no matter what we are presented with. Okay.
Don't push yourself too much.
So please come back and say hello when you can, even if it's every once in a while. Yeah, will do. I haven't seen Maria since I came back from the recruitment center. I wonder if something's wrong. She's probably making something for us, right? Is that the idea? Right, I don't think Fabienne will let me cook tonight. No. Okay. Yeah, I should be kinder to the game. I know I should, but what is there even to do tonight?
Good night.
Rest well.
Can I come in?
Want to read some more?
To read some more?
Not today. You're all leaving tomorrow, right? I'll be cheering for you. So I just... Oh no. I promised Miss Fabienne I wouldn't cry.
I won't tell her.
It's alright. I won't tell her.
Pavel was trying to stop a bad man, you said. And that's what you're all doing too, isn't it? Please come back home safe. I'll be waiting here as long as it takes.
Girl, I've known you like 2 days. Like, I appreciate you. But like, you're bonding and projecting us as family way too fast. I worry about you in the future. It's a promise.
All right. Promise? The next time I see you again, can you tell me more about the outside world?
This one's important.
Maria is waiting for us to return home and regale her with tales of strange and distant places to visit.
I
Okay.
never got a chance to say this to Papa. So, thank you. I'll go to bed now.
Captain, may I have a moment?
Good night.
I was hoping for a chance to speak before we set out. Since our meeting, I've done nothing but impose on you. Now you risk your very life for this cause. 'Tis no easy burden. It pains me to see. When I think of how this may yet save His Highness, I lose sight of all else. Such disregard ill becomes me.
You truly are devoted to him.
Truly are devoted to him, aren't you?
I keep forgetting that it's voiced. I could just pick
Guiding
one
oath
and
of
not
12
say
years
anything.
is not easily cast aside. But that book, we met once before, on a carriage bound for the capital. Do you recall?
When you got me thrown out?
Remember your stunt getting me flung in the wastes.
My apologies. I thought only to minimize casualties, one way or another. So, 'tis a novel envisioning an ideal world. Curious to see a utopian novel these days. I'd thought them long since banned. You needn't worry. I've no intention of taking it from
Wait,
you.
utopian novels are banned? That's so fucking weird.
Rumors say the Sanctists objected to their contents. Yet I wonder, how could a simple book have possibly stung them so? Do you mind if I read a passage or two?
In all fairness, you do slightly understand her attachment to us. She's probably been shit on by most people. and now her father is dead, and you're probably a surrogate because you're apparently very trusted by him. No, for sure. I actually do understand it. I just think it's funny. like it's you're absolutely right. It's, you know, being underclass, and like obviously her father trusted us, and she didn't know that we only knew her father for a little while, so like for all she knew we were close with her father, which we weren't, but she doesn't know that, right? So it definitely makes sense of, oh, these people were the closest people to my father besides us, so like that makes them family, right? Because she doesn't know that we didn't know the father very well either, realistically. So like I do get it. It's just funny.
So it is a fiction written as if a personal account. This chapter seems to concern the system by which the nation's leader is decided. In this country, one cannot become even a statesman, much less sovereign, without the consent of the people. Those who aspire to statecraft must first solemnly swear before the people what they will do in service of their country.
But they can lie about what they intend to do, and will in fact speak out both sides of their mouths.
Of the people. In this way, it is the people who are the land's true king. Quite the opposite of our own country.
I wish.
Now I see why our upper echelons would abolish such texts. Had our lands embraced such accountability, perhaps His Royal Highness would not have suffered such a fate. No.
Yeah, but His Royal Highness is also incompetent.
Not my place to say. I must clear my head of these fantasies. In the end, clinging to a dream will do me no good. Oh, I suppose 'tis not so bad to dream now and then. It takes power to walk the path of our dearest hopes. Perhaps that is the purpose of this newfound strength.
Or they tell you exactly who they are. And people are stupid enough to think that's a good thing. Yeah, you know, that's also been part of it. I mean, to be fair, hi, Kagarupa. I wasn't ignoring you. I was just, we're finishing a thought. It's inevitable because this entire game is about electing someone to become king, and we just went through our own elections, and obviously there's going to be parallels. So it's inevitable, and it was just a few days ago, and I'm still spiraling. That's besides the point. But yes, I think that something that people do neglect is that there's actually a lot of low information voters. Like one of the wild things about this entire election, one of the many wild things about this election is that there's a huge spike in Google searches during the election of, did Joseph Biden drop out of the election? Like, people were so low in information, so uninformed and going to vote that they didn't know that Biden wasn't running. So, like, when we take into account that, like, it's easy to forget. I'm trying to think of how to phrase it. Okay, a good analogy is like, I have friends who are bi. I'm also bi, right? I'm bisexual. I'm out about it, which is kind of scary, but right now. But that's besides the point. I am bi, and I have bi friends, and there's a lot. I've had this conversation with a few. It's easy to forget how stupid people are. Well, so that's the thing, is like, not necessarily stupid, different lived experiences, and I'll get into that. But like, because of the lived experience I've had as a bi person, and my friends who are bi, and we have these conversations, and some of them will legitimately be like, well, you know, everyone's actually a bit bi, and it's like, no, it's easy for us to forget that as bi people, because we experience that attraction to both people. But and like, usually they're saying it in terms of like straight people. It's like, well, everyone can be a little. It's like, no, like, in the same way that there are gay people who are just never going to be attracted to the opposite sex, and just in the same way that we accept that, right? And know that. The straight people also who are just never going to be at all attracted to anything about the same sex exist. But because there's this lived experience of, oh, this is what my lived experience is, and these are the things I'm going through, it's easy to forget other people don't go through those same things, right? So if we're on Twitch, if we're in Discords, I could understand if Biden just dropped out, but not knowing Biden dropped out on election day is pretty fucking bad. Well, so I'm about to get into that, right? If we're on Discord and if we're on Twitch, it's a fair bet to say that we are at least somewhat online, and in specifically like online especially in our circles, where we're going to get some political information, even if it's not very much, even if you're ignoring it, you're going to get some political information, right? And you're going to hear about this thing. But like a lot of people aren't online the same way we are, right? A lot of people are online, and what they are seeing are like people's vacation photos, and they're not getting those political memes. They're not getting those types of things. And they watch TV on network television. And so what their political information are just the ads that they're getting in between their television. They're not watching the debates. They're not watching the speeches. They only see these ads of like, oh, here's what Trump's ads say he stands for. And here's what, Harris's ads say she stands for. And like, here's what Biden's stuff, right? And so if you were aware enough, like they would know, obviously they'd be aware enough to know that Harris was the VP of Biden. So would naturally assume that those two things go together. And so like, because they're going and they're working, and a lot of the people who are doing this are working like 2 jobs or like working 1 job, but for like 60 hours a week, right? Where they don't have the wherewithal, like the energy to go and seek out this information. They are just sitting down, they're watching television, the same things that we do to relax, where you guys turn on Twitch, or you guys, hang out in a Discord, or go on Reddit or whatever. Their equivalent of that is watching TV. Their equivalent of that is going and exercising, right? They could go exercise and just never have time to go see to hear this stuff. But then they also are aware that they're supposed to go vote. And so all the information they have to go on are the ads that they were served. I'm not saying that's a good thing. And these aren't excuses for those people. But it's very easy to forget that other people have a completely different lived experience. It's not just online, it's TV, by word of mouth. Right, but like there's a huge culture of like, oh, you don't talk politics and religion, right? I do not talk politics with people at work, largely because I know I'm the leftist in a Republican state. But like, I don't talk politics with people at work. I don't know how well informed they are. Oh, thank you for the water. I appreciate that. And like the stuff on TV, like if we look at the stuff on TV, and this has been one of the major problems, is that like they show clips of some of the speeches and clips of, well, no, it's actually surprisingly hard if you're not online a lot to get basic information, because like NPR, MSNBC, CNN, what they would do is like show not like the Trump stuff in whole, but in clips of it, and would basically sane wash it, where they would take clips of it and explain it away to something different, right? Of where you don't get the full picture of the stuff he's saying, so you're missing out on a lot of the actual wild shit. That's why they're so uninformed of like, oh, he plans on banning porn. Oh, he plans on categorizing video games as porn. Oh, he plans on, this and the other. A denaturalization, which was a surprise for a lot of people, because that stuff's not presented in like that's the stuff that they kind of cut out and were like, oh well, he's not actually going to do that, let's focus on these other parts of the speeches, where they're not seeing the entire picture of the stuff he's saying, right? And that's if they are informed enough to be turning on the news in the first place, right? Again, it's not an excuse for these people, but it's an understanding of how they came to be. I think the reason why I'm trying to phrase this and break it down in a different way is because like there's this understanding or expectation that people who voted for Trump or didn't go out and vote for Harris, but to not know Biden wasn't running. Yeah, no, that's wild and is a new low for how low information some voters are. 100% I get you on that. That's fucking mind blowing that if you didn't know that he dropped out, don't fucking vote. Like, if you find that out while you're in a polling line, just leave the fucking line and understand you don't have enough information to make a decision. Like, what are you doing? But like, there's stuff out there saying that people who voted for Trump are all like racists and all, you know, the worst type of people. And those people do exist in the people who voted for Trump. But there's a separate group who's uninformed, low information, who also voted for Trump. And while the results are the same and are harmful and bad and should be criticized as results, it is useful to know which camp that they are sitting in and where they're coming from if you plan to inform outreach to help people come to an understanding of the problems, right? Yeah, you also have the low information failure of our education system, where people don't understand that the very fundamental basics of a tariff is gonna make yeah, exactly. Like they're already failing before they can. Okay, so this gets into a separate problem with education, right? Where like they've never done a good job explaining what education is for. Where it's remember always growing up in like algebra class or whatever, and you'd hear those kids saying like, well, when are we ever going to use this in life? And it's like, what we're teaching you isn't algebra. What we're teaching you is how to apply logic and apply, like, how to learn a concept and apply it to other parts of your life, like apply it to other things, right? Like we're teaching you, like, it's not just the information we're teaching you, which is also, some of that is very important information, like tariffs, for example. But like what we're teaching you is how to absorb information and apply that to other things that are not directly like in line with the information you just got, right? But like people didn't understand that in school. Fuck, I didn't understand it in school. I'm just lucky that I was good at school and learned that part, right? Like I got lucky, but like no one explains that that's what you're learning in school. And so these people like don't have the thing to apply. Like because of the failure of the education system of not being able to apply that, like they could get a piece of information and not have the skill set to apply that to other parts of the life, to apply that to other things that are being said about the political system or about policies that are planned to be enacted. And so they will then hear stuff like the tariffs thing and take that at face value of, oh, the tariffs are going to be good for American economy, when any economist who like studies the shit knows that it's not going to be. Hell, anyone who knows what a tariff is knows it's not going to be, but they don't know. And they have to take it at face value because they don't have enough information to not take it at face value. Is outdated for the modern world, but the education system actualization phrase is very slow compared to what it needs to be. Yeah, I don't know how we get the internet is a great thing that's also ruined everyone's lives, and I don't know how we work around that. Right? Like, this technology boom has done great things and awful things, and I don't know. I don't have an answer for that, if I'm being honest. But like, I think it's useful to realize that not everyone who's made the horrible, like made these decisions and voted for this awful person, like a lot of people are like react, and I get why, right? Because marginalized groups are going to be are targeted already, and going to be targeted even more. And you hear people's excuses for voting for Trump being, oh, the economy, right? When he's going to be bad for the economy in the first place. But even if hypothetically he was going to be good, hypothetically, and that's not going to happen, and I need to make that clear, but hypothetically, if he was going to be, that's still a lot of marginalized people saying like, well, he said all this other stuff about targeting us, and you care more about the economy than like the well-being of the people. But like, so I understand why they react the way that they do, right? But a lot of the people going out there and voting for him, there are people out there who just want to harm people. There are people out there who are like, oh, I want you to harm these people in specific and are racist, are transphobic, are homophobic, are those things. But there are going to be other people who are low information who buy into the ads because that's the only information they're getting. And I think that if we separate out those two groups, some of them can become informed. Some of them just can learn the skill set to apply information. It can be difficult because we're all worn down by the economy. Like we're all worn down by not the economy, but like the working class situation of needing to work 60 hours a week, of needing 2 jobs, of needing, right? So that can be a hard ask to get them to learn this new skill set. But I think if we just bundle them all into a single group without understanding that they come from 2 separate areas that led to the same bad decision, it prevents outreach. It prevents, does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Because like I'm not trying to excuse that behavior. I'm not trying to excuse the ignorance. And I think there's a fine line between that of recognizing that like they're not, just because they're not coming from the same place doesn't mean that they're not doing harmful things that are going to affect us all. Yeah, well, I'm not even saying necessarily a gray zone, because like they still made a bad decision that's going to be harmful to a lot of people. But understanding where that root cause, yeah, I think what I'm trying to say is like you can't solve the root cause of something if you're misdiagnosing what that root cause is. For some people, the root cause of them voting for Trump is because they fucking suck and are horrible and want, hate women and hate the gays and hate, right? Like, but there's other people who the root cause is being low information and not having the skill set to apply the information that they do have across the board. And so like that root cause can be addressed. But if you're addressing that root cause as the same as the other root cause, you're not going to get anywhere, right?
My dearest dream, 'tis to save His Highness, even at the cost of my life. Nothing more.
We're going to move on and do this. All that's going to cut out from the YouTube. I'm not including any of that for the YouTube. They'll hear me saying this right now of me cutting it out. And they're going to be like, what did they talk about? I'm not risking that. Oh, hey. I'm not a foot person actually, but like I did like her shoes. That's one hell of a dress. It is a cutscene. I've seen her before too.
Faraway sky, blue and clear. Echo my wish, so that
It looks like panties, but as a full dress.
one and all born to this land. As here we stand, let us greet the rising dawn, hand in hand. Faraway sky so clear.
The shoes were good. Yeah, I agree. If you've ever seen Bakemonogatari, I mean, it looks like panties in their full dress. Tell me I'm wrong. Specifically, like, if you've ever seen, like, Kizumonogatari or Bakemonogatari, where Hanakawa's skirt flips up and she has her panties, it's that, but as a dress. Listen, those are great shows and everyone should watch them. But also they're uncomfortably sexual. That's a panty dress. I'm not wrong. That's a panty dress. It's like lace, but like
Even I'm feeling the heat. I suppose it's time to fan the flames.
thank you. Thank you. I just needed to be told that I'm correct.
One and all to the inauguration of the tournament for the throne. For the first
It's lingerie.
time,
No, I feel like
crowns
lingerie is
displayed,
different than
as long
panty
as the
dresses.
aspirants can complete 3 grueling challenges.
Wow, a Sanctus Crier! He's perfect for this!
Let's discuss the venues. We kick off in the west.
They're too
in the Pearl of the Coast,
heavy
the
lore and
Principality of
culture-based
Oceania's
anime.
Harbour City capital, Port Brilehaven. There, they face their first challenge, the Exhibition of the Brave. Each contender must bring back the head of a monster, a mark of their prowess and courage. Next, our would-be monarchs head east. Upon the misty peaks, we arrive in the Principality of Montario's beautiful city of faith, Altaberry Heights. And finally, our heroes make their well-deserved return home to Grand Trad. But first, let's do introductions. It's time to meet those risking their lives for the crown. Closest to the throne, I know him, you know him. It's Sanctism's one and only 78th Sanctifex, His Eminence, Forden! Victory to Sanctifex Forden!
I claim no great ambition, nor any heated calls to action. All I wish is to restore order for our people and to safeguard our land from the threats beyond. This chaos we face is but one of God's many trials. Let us restore our kingdom's glory.
All right, it feels like
together!
if the king had such magical power that like it would be able to see inside people's hearts for the election.
Champion, the very spear in his hand, the warrior monk captain of the crown theocracy, Master Giddo.
Oh, he's ugly.
Before you only in loyal service of His Eminence. I relinquish the throne to him gladly. But those who would seize the crown by force, I will teach you to fear God and to fear me!
Oh, he's ugly.
How many horses does Sanctus have in this race?
But they're probably
It's not over by far.
inter-religion
Police
fighting too,
supporters won't
right?
take this lying down.
What cowardice, Friar! Where's Count Louise?
Is he the next boss? I hope so. I hope he dies soon.
All right, settle down. At this time, I can report that Count Luis has not applied to enter the tournament.
Because the tournament's not like super
Entering?
official. Yeah.
Then what becomes of us? Our entire purpose in this race was to get closer to him.
Don't worry. He's definitely paying attention. He's only in second as it is, so we can't afford to ignore this whole production. Sit tight. I'm sure he'll make a move soon.
Well, I was gonna say something else though. I lost my train of thought.
quarters, you might
because I
want to
can't
meet our
pause
next
during the
entrant.
cutscene.
A rising socialite, a man of ambition, godless and fearless, the brash young warrior serving Count Luis, Gladel, the Black Hound.
Him? So he was one of Luis's men.
The
Good to
fallen
know.
king embraced sanctism and all its holy tenets, and for what? He was nothing before.
So all of
Lord
Luis's
Luis.
men are just like
Look to the sky, all you
goth twinks.
No god can save you. What our country needs.
It is the Boris young
is
man.
power.
Well, it's not quite all the contenders, but
I guess
let's get
Louise
on
has
with
a
the
type.
Introductions. The great liberal merchant, it's Roger Ward. By war, by conquest, by right, it's Rudolph Kraus.
I just have to say, Roger
More
or
for the
looks
gauntlet
cute.
runners than the throne, it's Lena Caden. Sure to be popular by pledging free.
Lena Caden? They were cute.
Uplifting the beautiful and
Loveless
devoted
O'Shea is
to
probably who I would
Milo
cosplay as
Maurizio.
if I was in shape.
If we lose this, I think the country has some even bigger problems.
Now, I do believe we have one final candidate. Do we have an Elden boy present? Come on, let's see a face.
It's just us. Like, that's not very many people. I thought more people would enter for the crown.
What? An elder? Disgraceful. Is this the only way you could think to distinguish yourself?
By the way, the ride you applied with still hasn't arrived. And if it doesn't show up by the time the noon bell rings, you're disqualified.
Who?
Hey! What's going on?
That's who? Ada Wong? The one telling us we're disgraceful and
What is he doing?
So, contestants, are you ready?
What? Last, I say! Wait! Found your behave!
A land runner?
It's quick! Wait, it's headed right for the... It'll crash!
Whoa!
talk about an entrance, but that's not doing good for us.
Wonderful. So much for a first impression.
Yeah, that's what I was just saying.
Isn't he a marvel, chums?
You don't! You nearly brought down the cathedral! Have a care, you fool. It was bad enough when Luis did it the first time. That feckless, shameless old fool.
Not bad, kid. Guess you've got some interesting tricks up your sleeve after all.
Right! I'd call that a full roster. Ladies and gentlemen, race across the land. Go! Prove yourself worthy and earn your crown. For the people, for the throne. Let the games begin!
Well, I imagine the people in other cities have to also be able to apply, right? It wouldn't make sense if it was only just us allowed.
So fast! Gotta hold on to something or I'll get blown up!
It's incredible!
Oh, okay. I went up by 1,000. Ended up standing out more than I expected. I've gained a lot of interest, but I only consider this part of the mission to aid the prince. See, like, fucking, this is what I'm talking about. Like, I don't think that this makes the narrative any more interesting. You have a cool, interesting narrative conceit. Take part of it. Don't try to subvert it by being like, I'm only doing this for other reasons outside of becoming king. Like I understand that it's like I think part of it is like it is a very trying to think of how to phrase it. Stereotypical Japanese thing of like you can't put yourself forward as king, like right, like or like put your like self-advocating, right? it is kind of like, oh no, other people have to want you to do XYZ thing, right? As the main character, it's fine for these other people who aren't the main character to do that. But like if you as the main character, so that's probably why. So like that's definitely that's definitely why the narrative is like, oh, you know, we have this election, but we can't self-advocate for ourselves to become king. We're only doing it for this other reason. We're only doing this to protect the prince. So it allows us to participate in the actual games going on and to become part of the elected. And eventually there will be a point where it flips over to us actually needing to become elected or something, right? And it's gonna be a huge moment of like, oh, do we actually go for it this time, right? But I don't think that it may like speaking about it from like a Western American perspective, I don't think it makes it the narrative any more interesting to have it framed this way of like, oh, we're not doing this to actually become king. We're doing this for as part of the mission to aid the prince. So Louise will pay attention to us and have us join his squad, and then we'll get close and be able to free the prince from his curse. Like I just don't think that's interesting. Like have the characters actually like want to participate in what's going on, right? Even if it is to protect the prince, have it be from the perspective of, if we become able to do this, I can step down the throne and give it to the prince, assuming we're able to get to Louise, or like to get to enough popularity where we can challenge Louise to a duel, right? Like have the duel part of it. Like I know why that's not released, but have us know about it for like XYZ reason. Have it leaked to us. And so it's like, oh, we're going to do this to get to a level where we could then duel Louise and kill them. But yeah, that sucks as motivation, doesn't it? Wouldn't it be a lot like I think that I think it would be way more interesting if like they got a separate leak about how they could challenge Louise to a duel. They just need to get high enough in popularity to make it worthwhile for Louise to fight them in a duel, right? Because that's a thing we know does exist in the curse, but it's not widely released to the public, right? Probably to protect Ford and all of them. But like if we had that information, that would still give us a way to enter the tournament without wanting to necessarily usurp the prince that we're trying to bring back, right? It's like, oh, we're entering it in order to get to Louise so we could duel him and kill Louise, which will bring back the prince, right? Like you could use that even as the excuse, which would make more sense than their current plan. If you don't want them to engage with the conceit of your game, like authentically, which I think they should just engage with it authentically. Be like, yeah, we're going to become king and use that kingly power to protect the prince, and when he wakes up, we'll step down or whatever.